Tonight on Global Television News Prime, President Tinubu urges prayers for troops, calls for national unity at Salah. In business, Christine Lagarde says European Central Bank positioned to tackle economic headwinds. On the foreign scene, Israel warns of more Lebanon strikes if Hezbollah not disarmed. And tonight in sports, Super Eagles trade tackles with Russia international friendlies. Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Uyi Agmofwebe, reminding our viewers that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. You can download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our 247 broadcast. Here is wishing our viewers a very, very amazing and spectacular Salah celebrations. Tonight we'll begin by telling you President Bola Tinubu has called on Nigerians to intensify prayers for the military and security agencies, recognizing their sacrifices in protecting the nation against terrorism and banditry. The president made this known after Eid-el-Kabir prayers in Lagos. Defense correspondent Kekelomo Okere has details.
Speaking after the Eid-el-Kabir prayer in Lagos, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu emphasized compassion, unity and selflessness during the season, urging citizens to support the vulnerables and behave responsibly. He highlighted the extraordinary effort of troops on the front lines and encouraged fervent prayers for their safety.
The spirit of peace must come together, be one another's brother's keeper, give your neighbors, love everyone equally. We must pray hard for our troops who are keeping us safe, making the sacrifices in the challenges that we face in terrorism and banditry today. We must pray for them specifically, and we must remember their sacrifices and continue to be of good behavior.
The event was attended by key government officials, security advisors, and prominent business leaders. The Chief Imam of Lagos State also urged the faithfuls to emulate Prophet Abraham's spirit of sacrifice. Kekelomo Okere.
Thank you, Kekelomo. Similarly, Vice President Kashif Shettima today joined Muslim faithful at the National Prayer Ground to offer prayers and sacrifice to Allah as part of Eid-el-Kabir celebration. Samuel Odi completes the report. We'll bring you that report later. In the meantime, Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Umo Eno, has officially defected from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress APC. He stated this during an official announcement at the government house in Uyo, the state capital. Governor Ono said the decision followed 3 months of wide consultation with critical stakeholders across the state, expressing his gratitude to the PDP for their support during his tenure, stating that it was time for him to make a progressive move. Meanwhile, Akwa Ibom State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, who doubles as the Commissioner for Special Duties, Ini Emobong, has formally resigned following Governor Uno Emo defection to the All Progressives Congress APC. In a Facebook post, Emobong explained that his resignation was in accordance with the governor's directive that any political appointee unwilling to join the APC should step aside. Emobong, a member of the People's Democratic Party, emphasized his decision was guided by his principles and long-standing opposition to the All Progressives Congress. Hundreds of Kano residents, including the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, attended this year's Eid-el-Kabir prayers at the Emir's Palace in Nasarawa. Global TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that the event was conducted in a rancor-free atmosphere amidst special prayers for Nigeria's peaceful coexistence.
It's a special day for all Muslim faithfuls across the world, often observed with 2 rak'at prayers to fulfill one of the most important pillars of Islam. In Kano, hundreds of faithfuls joined the Emir Amina Ado Bayero to pray for Nigeria's peace and unity, regardless of religion or ethnic differences. The message here today is peace and unity, as well as thanksgiving to Allah for witnessing this important day in Islam.
We thank Allah for sparing our lives to yet witness another with the Emir of Kano, Amina Ado Bayero, and the people of Kano. We thank Allah for giving us good health to continue to pray for the nation, to continue to pray for the security of the nation, for the economic growth of the nation.
While praying for Allah's continued protection and guidance, one of the Emir's senior councillor, Aminu Babba, called on Muslims to continue to show love to one another and embrace peaceful coexistence.
Alhamdulillah, I thank Almighty Allah for witnessing this day. You can see the number of people that came out here today to join the Emir in praying for this Eid al-Kabir. We are very happy, and we are very happy. We thank all the people of Kano State that came out here today to pray with us. This shows how much they love the Emir Amina Ado Bayero. The people loved him. They call on the people of Kano State to continue to live in peace with one another.
The Eid prayers in Kano are marked by sacrifice as preached by the Prophet of Islam, peace be upon him. From Kano, Idris Jubrin reporting for Global Television News.
Well, thank you so very much, Samuel Odi, for your reporting tonight. Let's return to our earlier story now, where Vice President Kashif Shettima today joined Muslim faithful at the National Prayer Grounds to offer prayers and sacrifice to Allah as part of Eid al-Kabir celebration. We move on to other stories tonight on the news. Hundreds of Kano residents, including the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, have attended this year's Eid al-Kabir prayers at the Emir's Palace in Nasarawa State. We'll continue to follow the Salah celebration for you here on Global Television. Still staying in the northern part of the country, Zamfara State government has urged residents to continue praying for an end to banditry in the state. In a statewide broadcast to mark the Eid al-Kabir celebration, Acting Governor Mani Mumuni commended the people for their steadfast prayers and support for Governor Dauda Lawal's administration. He called on them not to relent. Mumuni expressed gratitude to God for the successes recorded by Lawal across various sectors, attributing the achievements to the persistent prayers of citizens. The Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, in the 19 northern states and the FCT has urged Nigerians in positions of authority, particularly the political leadership, to make a double sacrifice to secure Nigeria, just as Muslims offer sacrifices in obedience to God during Salah. Chairman of the association, Reverend John Joseph Ayab, gave the advice in a Salah message to Muslim faithful as they join the rest of the world to celebrate Eid al-Kabir. The religious leader further advised the political elites to act in consonance with their constitutional obligation and moral responsibility in the interest of every citizen. Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia has met behind closed doors with traditional rulers to discuss the current security situation in the state and clarify the circumstances surrounding the recent visit of the Chief of Army Staff. Our correspondent, Felicity Indere, reports that the governor's clarification came in response to growing public concerns about the purpose and outcome of the military's presence in the state.
The meeting came in the wake of public outcry from residents of Gwe West and Upper local government areas who accused the military of failing to respond to distress calls, claims that have fueled anxiety and erode public trust in the security force. Governor Hyacinth Alia, in his capacity as the Chief Security Officer of Benue State, held a closed-door meeting with traditional rulers and security stakeholders. Governor Alia reassured citizens that all efforts are geared towards ensuring lasting peace and the protection of lives and property across the state.
There's so many things in here. First of all, we thank the uniformed, the military, the police, the civil defense on what they are doing to support us and to protect us. There might be 1-2 challenges by the ranks, quite all right. But I want us to understand one thing. We don't necessarily need to demystify the military. But if there are mistakes, we can talk to them. You know, we can point them out and then we take the corrections. They have been doing that. They've been taking the corrections in here. The Chief of Army Staff was here, to see things for himself and to hear directly from the people. So it was a very positive visit he made. Showed much of concern. He paid condolences to the entire state over the various lives and the many lives we've lost. I think it's with the intent of adding more manpower to support this cause, and then the requisitions that the uniformed people had also made on their needs and all that. So I feel it was a very good, friendly meeting. He visit first of all, and then the meetings. And it remains our hope that going forward things will actually change.
Meanwhile, the Tiv Traditional Council had urged violent herders to leave the state and called for the safe return of displaced farmers to their ancestral homes.
I want to address the issue of our appeal to killer herders. It was an appeal for them to vacate our farmlands so that our farmers will farm. Because without our farmers going back to the farm, hunger awaits us, not only in Benue State, because Benue is the food basket of the nation. The entire nation will be affected. So that is why we appealed that they should vacate the farmlands for our people to farm.
The Army Chief's visit was intended to carry out on-the-spot assessment of the state's current security challenges. In Makurdi, Felicity Ndere, Global TV News.
Benue State correspondent Felicity Ndere reporting for us tonight. We appreciate you. Let's turn to Nigeria's southeast now, where Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma has called on Nigeria's scientific and research community to rise to the challenge of creating sustainable alternatives to single-use plastics. The governor, who was represented by the Deputy Governor Chinyere Ekwamaru, made the call at an event organized by the Ministry of Environment and Sanitation to commemorate World Environment Day. Amarachi Ibe tells us more.
World Environment Day, celebrated annually on June 5th, is the United Nations leading global platform for environmental outreach. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma, who was represented by his deputy Chinyere Ekwamaru, urged scientists to develop eco-friendly alternatives to plastic and citizens to take greater responsibility for the environment. While stressing the importance of community action, he encouraged residents of Imo State to make conscious choices and support the government's environmental efforts.
I want to charge our scientists and researchers to aggressively embark on continuous research for the development on new technologies and materials to reduce plastic pollution in our society.
Speaking at the event, the Commissioner for Environment and Sanitation, Dr. Ejikeme Menike, emphasized the state's commitment in tackling plastic pollution through enforcement, education, and public engagement.
As a ministry, we are not standing complacent, but in alignment with national and international environmental goals. We're already taking our bold steps. We are intensifying public awareness, campaigns, and dangers of single-use plastics, and the need to reduce, reuse, and recycle.
Also speaking, the chairman of Imo State House Committee on Environment, Honorable Ikechukwu Ikpemeze, advocates for policies and messages from the commemoration to reach rural communities.
I wish the commissioner, after this environmental day, he will make a communique which will be directed and sent to the local government, all the 27 local governments, to be able to spread to the traditional rulers, so that whatever that is happening in the state will be spread all over, because most times people do a lot of this because of ignorance.
This year's theme, Ending Plastic Pollution in Nigeria, highlights the growing threats of plastic waste to ecosystem, public health and economy. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
Of course, the call to end plastic pollution has never been this loud, hence the need talking about single-use plastic and the urgency to end that practice as quickly as possible. You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime here on Global Television. When the rest of the news returns tonight, Israel warns of more Lebanon strikes if Hezbollah not disarmed. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please do stay with us.
Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime with Uyi Agmofwegbe. The rest of the news now returns with business, where President Bola Tinubu has warned that islands and buildings close to major roads and waterways should not be given approvals. The president gave the warning while opening the new Lekki Deep Seaports Access Road, a project he started when he was Lagos State Governor. The president ordered that any unauthorized structural developments, especially those near the road, also made a case for future road expansion. Shares in Tesla plummeted by 14%, wiping out an estimated $150 billion in market value as a high-profile feud between Chief Executive Officer Elon Musk and United States President Donald Trump spilled into the public eye. The sharp decline came amid investor concerns over the implications of the rapidly deteriorating relationship between Musk and the White House. The dispute, which began over a Trump-backed spending bill, quickly escalated into personal attacks exchanged via social media. Away from the United States now, European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde says policymakers are in good place to deal with global uncertainty after cutting interest rates by another quarter point. Sincere apologies for that mix-up right there. It was occasioned by a technical challenge which has now been resolved. Thank you so very much for your understanding. We'll take you back to our earlier story now, where European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde says policymakers are in a good place to deal with global uncertainty after cutting interest rates by another quarter point.
At a press conference in Frankfurt, Germany, Lagarde struck a balanced tone. While the U.S. trade war is causing problems, she noted signs of growing strength in the Eurozone economy, as well as a potential future boost from plans for greater infrastructure and defense spending.
Are we confident? I think that would be far-fetched, because we are in a good place. As I said, I think we are well positioned as you know, after that 25 basis point rate cut and with the rate path as it is, we are in a good place.
Lagarde also expressed her resolve to complete her term as head of the European Central Bank, following reports she had discussed taking the helm of the World Economic Forum.
Now, you asked me about my future, which is far less important than the future of the economy and the future of our monetary policy, rest assured. But I can very firmly tell you that I have always been and I'm fully determined to deliver on my mission, and I'm determined to complete my term. So I regret to tell you that you're not about to see the back of me.
The ECB cut its key deposit rates a quarter point to 2%, as widely expected, its seventh consecutive reduction and eighth since June last year, when it began lowering borrowing costs. Uyi Agumofwegbe reporting for Global TV News. At a press.
Let's go further into the foreign scene tonight. A federal judge has temporarily blocked an executive order from President Donald Trump that would have barred Harvard University from enrolling international students. Judge Alison Burroughs issued a restraining order preventing the implementation of the policy, citing the potential for what it called immediate and irreparable injury to the university. The ruling came just hours after Harvard had filed an amended lawsuit on Thursday accusing the Trump administration of retaliating against the institution for exercising its First Amendment rights. Israel has warned that it will keep striking Lebanon until militant group Hezbollah has been disarmed, as after it hit South Beirut in what Lebanese leaders now call major violation of a November ceasefire. An Israeli military evacuation call issued ahead of Thursday's strike sent huge numbers of residents of the southern suburbs of Lebanese capital, long a bastion of Iran-backed Hezbollah, fleeing for their lives. The attack on what the Israeli military said were Hezbollah's underground drone factories came on the eve of Eid al-Adha, one of the main religious festivals of the Muslim calendar. Russia has launched large-scale drone and missile strikes on Ukraine's capital and other parts of the country. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says at least 3 people were killed and 49 injured in the strikes. The aerial raids targeted Kiev, as well as the city of Lusk and the Ternopil region in the northwest of the country. So much of conflict across the world, but let's find some consolation in sports tonight. Russia national team head coach Valery Karpin has warned that the Super Eagles of Nigeria remain a formidable side despite the absence of key forwards Victor Osimhen and Ademola Lookman ahead of Friday's international friendly at the Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow. Speaking to journalists after Russia's open training session on Thursday, Karpin acknowledged the quality of the Nigerian team and insisted that their threat remains intact, even without some of their star players. The ongoing willing and dealing to prize Victor Osimhen away from Napoli has assumed an interesting dimension following reports that the Nigerian ace has rejected an opening 26 million euros, equivalent to 46 billion naira per season salary, being tabled by Saudi Pro League side Al Hilal. Multiple outlets in Italy have confirmed Al Hilal's approach for the Super Eagles forward, but Football Italia has claimed that while Osimhen has turned down the Saudis' opening proposal of 26 million euros, Napoli have equally turned down the opening Al Hilal offer for the 26-year-old striker, demanding the full payment of the 75 million euros, which is about 134 billion naira release clause. And that's all for Global TV News Prime tonight. We appreciate you for watching, but here's a quick reminder that you can find us on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. Follow us across all social media platforms using the handle at Global TVNG, as well as others you now find on your screen. Also, remember to download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices so you can keep track of our 247 broadcasts. I'm Uyi Agumofwegbe, saying a big thank you to you on behalf of my team for watching. Have a big weekend ahead of you.